Actor, singer and writer, the multi-talented Tom Burlinson has been delighting audiences for more than 25 years. In The Man from Snowy River, the young Tom Burlinson played Jim Craig, an enduring Australian icon. On screen, his father figure Spur was played by Kirk Douglas, a man beset by the challenges of frontier Australia. Off screen, Tom and his real-life father Tony have also faced some big challenges together.
My parents divorced when I was 10, and my older sister and I lived with Dad as a single parent until he remarried. But of course, you know, as time goes on and parents get older and children become adults, the traditional roles can gradually reverse. By the late 1980s, Dad was getting on in years and he and my stepmother decided to separate. So Dad faced the prospect of living alone. And we decided that we needed to find a place where he could maintain his independence. So we thought it might be good for him to move into a retirement village.
Every year, thousands of older Australians and their families face the same challenge of finding appropriate care as Tom and Tony. Hello, I'm Lee Hatcher. In this presentation, we'll be looking at some of the very significant changes that have taken place in recent years in Australian aged care. We'll hear more from Tom and Tony later on. It's hard for all of us to balance the need for independence and the need for security and care. And it's even harder to be sure we've made the right decisions. That's especially true if those choices have to be made very quickly. When Steve Tracy's mother had a stroke, he had to act fast.
Our life was turned upside down. Our mother had had a stroke. Fortunately, she would pull through. Rehabilitation would work. Mum had always been an independent person. She enjoyed life. Our biggest concern was how could we duplicate what she already had.
Whether we have time to plan ahead or not, the search for a place in an aged care home can be challenging. Carol Reinsbergen understands the situation well. She's the Executive Care Manager of an aged care facility in the Blue Mountains of New South Wales and has been assisting residents and their families for 30 years.
It is a huge challenge. First of all, you've got to find a place, and then of course you've got to try and understand the financial management and things like that. It's all a bit of an emotional roller coaster. People are wondering, how on earth am I going to live in one room rather than a 5-bedroom house? Is the food really going to be any good? Is that quality of care going to be there when I really need it? And then for families, there's also this awful grief and guilt that comes out of thinking, maybe I should be looking after mum at home and not putting her into this place, because there's still a bit of a stigma about all of that.
We were panicking. We had to find somewhere for mum that would be suitable. Quality of care was uppermost in our mind. We didn't know what to do.
There is heaps of anxiety. You know, when people come into aged care, that's probably their first experience with aged care ever in their lives. And all they probably know is what they've seen or they've read or they've watched on telly. And sadly, that's usually negative because positive things don't make headlines. And that one negative thing may have happened in one facility out of the thousands in Australia on one occasion, but that's the picture that people have in their minds. And that's scary and it's understandable.
Well, we found a home not far from where I live, which was great. And to our relief, Dad was eligible to enter. And it was a place that provided hostel care, which is what Dad needed, and the possibility of moving on to nursing home if Dad's needs became more advanced over time. So we were on the waiting list, and then one day they called and said, there's a room available, do you want it? And we had to decide very quickly, didn't we?
Yes.
So after some discussion and some encouragement from me, I might say, Dad decided to go for it.
Yeah.
Australia has almost 3,000 aged care homes providing accommodation for around 140,000 people. How can we be sure they are providing the best possible care? What assurances do we have? Well, since 1997, there's been a powerful body aiming to provide that assurance. The Aged Care Standards and Accreditation Agency Limited. The agency, as it's known, was established by the Australian Government but is an independent body whose job is to ensure that aged care facilities maintain the standards set by the Commonwealth. These standards are comprehensive. They cover 44 areas of care, ranging from medication and pain management to emotional support and leisure activities, and everything in between. They are recognised as amongst the highest in the world.
Those standards certainly do keep us on our toes and make sure we work hard, and that's a really good thing. And of course, they lead to accreditation in the end, and that's pretty encouraging when you know you've fulfilled them all. We have to look at everything from management systems to health and care to living environment and of course safety and security. And we've got to have all the equipment in place to do that. We've got to have the education for our staff to make sure they can do what they need to do, and we need to continuously improve. So we have to look at what we're doing all the time. And of course the agency are there to make sure we do all that.
The agency is a watchdog with teeth. Agency assessors regularly visit homes to ensure that everything's up to standard, and that means everything. The agency closely investigates what's happening on the ground, interviews staff, checks records, observes what people do and talks directly to residents and their families about their concerns. It's a tough test, and a facility that fails to meet any of the agency's standards needs to fix it fast or risk losing its accreditation with serious financial consequences. Homes without accreditation don't receive government funding. 96% of homes meet all 44 of the expected outcomes. But if a home doesn't, the agency is there to help management act quickly to resolve the problem. But the agency is more than just about maintaining standards. It's committed to helping aged care staff promote continuous improvement in everything from healthcare, food, lifestyle choices they provide, and much more. That's an approach that's led to a revolution in Australian aged care. Ron Thompson, the CEO of RSL Veterans, has experienced the change.
There have been a lot of changes. It's been a great time to be part of all this in aged care. There have been a real focus on continuous improvement, making life better for our residents. Personalised care, looking after each resident as an individual, making life fun for them. And that goes from the kitchen staff through to the cleaning staff, through to the care staff. Everybody across the village, and the agency is always there working with us. It's a real team effort.
The agency works closely with care staff to help improve standards. Staff like Karen Garrard. Karen is a registered nurse with many years of experience in aged care. As the leader of a large team of care workers, she plays a vital role in ensuring quality care for residents and their families. And she sees every day the difference that the agency has made.
It's about personalised care, and it's not only our residents that we give personalised care to. Our families are included in this. The agency has helped us to recognise these needs, and in actual fact we encourage complaints so that we can make changes for the better, and we do.
The agency also plays a vital role in industry training and education, conducting education sessions with individual nursing homes and holding events to showcase innovation in aged care.
Staff training's never been better. Our management has an obligation to the agency to train staff, and I have a wonderful team of nurses and I'm very proud of them, and the care has never been better.
A big part of quality of care is the staff. They're superb. They act in mum's interests just as we would. It really is a team effort. If there's a problem, you can discuss it. And we go away confident that mum's interests are first.
Oh no, I'm quite happy here. We all like to be in our own home, but this is an express thing. They treat you as an individual.
There's always a bit of resistance to change, but I've asked Dad many times how he feels about living here, and he now says that it's the best movie ever made, don't you?
Right.
The staff seem to be really good. I go by what Dad says. He particularly likes the kitchen staff who look after him because he likes his food, don't you?
Yes. Becky's one of the senior staff members. She's a great organiser, very active, and she's a good friend of mine. And Rose is also a good friend of mine. She comes in and organises my room for me. The staff and management, all great.
You may be watching this presentation because you're in a similar situation to Tom and Steve, Tony and Ella. The DVD or video you're viewing was probably provided by a retirement village or nursing home. Like all accredited facilities, they are proud of the standard of care they provide and they're dedicated to keep on improving it. It's a commitment backed by the agency, the Aged Care Standards and Accreditation Agency, the independent body that's working to ensure the highest possible quality of care and quality of life for older Australians.
Aged care's changed heaps, and I love those changes, and a lot of that's come about because of the accreditation standards. I now work in an industry of which I'm really proud because it gives a much better quality of life and quality care for the residents.
It's been a long road, but Mum's happy, we're happy as a family. What a relief.
The care's never been better.
Well, I think it's all worked out pretty well for us. Dad's happy here, he's well looked after. We visit him regularly, and things have worked out pretty well.
If you have 9 sons in a row, baseball team make money, you know. So keep your funny side up, up, line the side that gets blued. Stand upon your legs, be like 2 fried eggs, and keep your sunny side up. Keep your funny side, keep your sunny side up.